welcome you to our coverage of NASCAR Nationwide Series racing from Mexico City, Mexico. Yes, the NASCAR Nationwide Series has gone global. Let's take a look at the starting grid here today. 19-year-old Colin Braun becomes the fourth different pole sitter in his many races here for NASCAR in Mexico City. And folks, he did it in only his third career start. 2008, a 19-year-old on the pole. And one of the most experienced veteran road racers in sports beside him. Can Colin Braun hang on as the green flag waves and we're underway in Mexico? One of the passing zones you talked about here in turn one, and Braun gets the advantage. Looks like Kyle Busch tries to move to the inside, but now has to fall back in line.
And Vince, in addition to the mechanical challenges a crew chief faces at a road course, well, Eddie Perdue has had other challenges getting a rookie driver ready for this event. What have you had to tell him this week?
Well, the 3 and 4 Fusion has been fast all weekend, but Colin's a great road race talent, and it's just keeping him on track and keeping him calm at the beginning of this race so we get to the end and go win this thing.
I think with Colin winning the pole, it surprised a lot of people. What's impressed you most so far this weekend about the way he's approached this?
Well, Colin, like I say, he's got a lot of experience. He's only 19 years old, but he's got a lot of road race experience, and he knows how to go fast in these cars when he wants to.
And you talk about that road course racing experience, guys. Well, he's run here twice before in a Rolex Grand Am Series car and finished second both times, Dave.
Colin Braun in the 16 car. If you just joined our coverage, this youngster making only his third start in a NASCAR Nationwide Series car. Spent 5 years as a road racer, 3 years in the Grand Am Series, and you heard earlier he ran both the Grand Am events here last year and the year before, finishing second in both of them.
And he's putting the pressure on Scott Pruitt right now. He's, as I said, flexing his muscles. He wants to know how fast his car is. He's been staying right on him. And when you can do that on a road course, normally that means your car's a little bit faster.
Mike. And Colin Braun has been doing a good job himself. He's impressed everyone here, including his crew chief, Eddie Perdue. Perdue said that he was surprised at how much speed he was able to get out of the car. The one area, though, where he feels like he still needs to learn in terms of communicating how to fix the car. He's saying right now that he's a little bit free off, and that's the thing they need to fix in order to compete for this.
There's the 16 car. Big story of the weekend is a 19-year-old pole sitter, Colin Braun. Now let's go down to his pits where Mike Massaro is caught up with a couple of special guests.
And of course, those being his parents, Doc, Jeff and Diane Braun. What's this like for you? I mean, your kid's having a sensational run here.
Well, it's a great, it's great for him. It's a good opportunity that Ford and Roush Fenway have given him, and he's just trying to make the best of it. It's all you can do for your kids is hope that they can live the dream that they've worked so hard for, and he's got that opportunity here, so we're thrilled.
What are the nerves like for you right now?
I'm not really nervous. I mean, I love watching him drive. That's my favorite thing to do. I just get nervous, at the end if something good can happen, that you don't want something to happen that changes that. But I think it's exciting. I love watching him drive.
And Doc, there may be plenty of reason to get more nervous as these laps unfold.
And folks, I was talking to these parents this morning. They live in the tiny town of Avalo, Texas. Now, they told me it's in the middle of nowhere, on a tin building with a tin roof. Their house, 3 bedrooms, a kitchen and a bathroom, and half the building is a race shop. By the way, Dad is a race engineer for one of the road racing Grand Am teams. And he said from the time Colin could barely walk, he was racing go-karts around their shop. He has learned, watching his dad and basically growing up with a steering wheel in his hand, and it's paying off now here in NASCAR.
Mike? And Colin Braun still in the midst of a pretty strong run, third on the scoreboard right now, but he hasn't made his second stop yet, Eddie. When do you plan to do that?
The 3 and 4 Fusion is really close here. This red flag has got everybody thinking about it, but we're real close to doing it.
2 red flags. Really, it would seem hard to gain some momentum. How has this situation, the way today's race has unfolded, how's that affected strategy?
Well, it's changed it quite a bit here. Like I say, we're counting cautions, looking at stats, and listening to people and trying to find out what our teammates are doing. It's like I say, we're close to doing this final stop, and that's going to make the difference.
Doc, I would expect to see a lot of people hit pit road in the next 2 or 3 laps, I would say.
Exactly, guys. We do know the top 15 cars here will have to come on the pit road sometime between now and the checkered flag. I got to believe that they're going to have to make at least one stop and maybe a splash here. We'll find out. Pruitt. And here comes a 16. Almost missed the entrance to pit road.
Well, if he would have missed that commitment line, he'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, worked that hard all day long and come a little hot, missed that line. That was a tough one right there, but he made it.
What's Eddie Pardue and the guys going to do, Mike?
Well, you heard the report a little earlier ago in the broadcast that Colin Braun said the thing they really need to work on is correcting the freeness off the corner. That's what they're going to work on. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment to the 16 car, 4 tires and fuel for Braun. Then Braun is in. Team goes to work now on the left side of the car. They make the change there, very clean, and they're hoping for a quick stop here. And they see the chassis wrench out. They're going to make the quick track bar adjustment. They go to work now on the right side on the 16 machine.
Also, for you Ron Hornaday fans, he has made his final pit stop. There he comes. And Colin Braun is down. Speaking of pit violations, we are being told there was a violation a moment ago in the 16 cars pit. Mike?
That's right, Doc, and it may have ruined an otherwise spectacular run for Colin Braun. He's done a great job behind the wheel, but they had a tire get away. The left front tire rolled out of the pit box during that stop, and of course Eddie Pardue had a long conversation with NASCAR officials trying to argue his case. His case was that they waited inside the pit stall. They told their driver not to leave until they retrieved the tire. That's their argument. It doesn't sound like, though, that NASCAR's buying it, and it does appear the 16 car will go to the end of the longest line.
He got it. Well, Colin Braun.
The left front flat tire.
Pole sitter, left front down. He will limp that car back around the pit road. Thought he might have had a shot at a top 10 finish or better.
Looks like he might have had a fender rubbing there from some damage, Rusty, and giving him that flat tire.
Yeah, I just hate it for this kid. He's had sitting on the pole for this race, as young as he is, and just having to go out early like this for a young guy is just tough. They'll learn. Probably nothing he did wrong, though.
We're going to see a lot more of him up front, too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's the real deal.